you're going to be sitting in the audience and listening, and I think we'll get some good information on where we stand with the whole process of reform of our police department that we so depend on and so appreciate, but has gone through some tough times. And I think we're all here to pull them back out through a better time. So thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you, Councilor. I really appreciate you taking time out to host this event tonight. One of the first things I did when I came to Albuquerque in my infinite wisdom was to commit to at least one community meeting in every council district. I guess we're working on fourth or fifth now, I've lost track. But turnouts have been pretty good, questions have been great. Sometimes we have disagreements, but we always get through that.
First of all, Dr. General, I want to thank you publicly for meeting with me over a year ago in the U.S. Attorney's Office to discuss with you some specific proposals. Every time I read your reports and see the acronym CASA, in New Mexico we have a saying, mi casa es su casa, and that's very much what I view this as. Your report is very specific, and I'm going to read this portion to you, and then I'm going to ask you a specific question. Across the board, the monitoring team has found that the components and APD system for overseeing and holding officers accountable for the use of force, for the most part, has failed. Hence, the serious deficiencies revealed point to a deeply rooted systemic problem. The deficiencies, in part, indicate a culture of low accountability is at work within APD, particularly in the chain of command reviews. And I'll repeat that, particularly in the chain of command reviews. You go on to say, mistakes or misconduct led to reporting failures, delayed investigations, and the loss of potential evidence, including key statements. Another finding, APD at multiple levels and stages missed significant opportunities to catch problems early, remediate and resolve them quickly, reinforce good practice, and provide invaluable feedback to the policy and training functions. Dr. Ginger, with those words, you have confirmed something that I have felt for about 28 years, even when I was a city councilor and I advocated civilian oversight of the Albuquerque Police Department. The question I have of you, are we at the point now with the Albuquerque Police Department where we should civilianize internal affairs, pull it out of APD, and turn it over to the Inspector General, in conjunction perhaps with the Internal Audit Department, but more importantly, the Personnel Department of the city? Are we at the point where we should start taking a look at a different form of policing, in the form of a police commissioner? And this is something I talked to you about over a year ago. And I think I have been very quiet. I haven't attended any of these meetings for a reason, because I wanted to see what you were going to find. But I think you have confirmed a very strong feeling that the police department cannot police themselves, police officers cannot police themselves. So the question I have, are we at the point where you are going to try to recommend the removal of internal affairs and civilization of it?
Thank you, sir.
Well, Pete, you did your homework. I'll give you credit. Let me spend just a brief second talking to you about my role. I am officially an officer of the court. I work for Judge Brack. I am the independent monitor of the Albuquerque Police Department. I have one job, and that job is to report to you, to report to the judge, and to report to APD what I find as I go about doing my job, just as you read. It actually sounds a lot better coming from you than it does coming from me.
I'm a lot better looking.
Yeah, that too. So it's okay. I don't mind. Plus, you got hair, which is really aggravating. But I can't recommend anything. I mean, I can talk to the judge and say, Your Honor, we've got a real problem, and he can ask me, well, what do you think I need to do? But even the judge has no power here, and it has to be that way. This is the chief of police. He has to run his agency He has agreed, and the mayor has agreed, city council has agreed, that over the next, well, it's not 4 years anymore, it's over the next 2 years and 4 months, we're going to work together to try to do the things that you just noted, that I noted, need to be done. And the chief is committed to do that, the mayor is committed to do it, the council has committed to do it. So I think, and you and I had this conversation, and I said, you may be right, but you're too early. This thing has to run its course. And at the end of 4 years, if they haven't been able to do what they said they were going to be able to do, then it's up to the judge. And the judge can say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to hire a special master, and that special master will come to the city of Albuquerque and will take control of the Albuquerque Police Department. It's never been done in the history of these projects. There's a partial special master, haven't figured that one out yet, who's about to start work in Phoenix for internal affairs, interestingly enough, because the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department has, at least speaking out of turn, has habitually failed to do its job in internal affairs. And the finding of the monitor there was to the judge, basically, boss, I can't do anything about it. They're not going to do it. I can't make them do it. You're the only one who can make them do it. So we're to that point, but they've got 2 years and 4 months left. So we need to let them, they've agreed to do it. I mean, I think it's a major step for an American police agency to agree with the Department of Justice to bring somebody like me in and poke around in their business. So they've agreed to do it. We've got to let it run for a while.
May I ask one short follow-up question? Does the consent decree prevent the city council from acting on its own and creating, civilianizing the internal affairs department?
I don't think so. Luis?
Yeah, that's not covered in the agreement, but number one, there's a way to modify the agreement if we need to. But there's nothing preventing the city from enacting its own more restrictive remedies or measures as on its own.
You confirm my own personal opinion that the city council could enact an ordinance civilianizing internal affairs and also putting it under the auspices of the Inspector General. Thank you very much.
I do want to point out one quick thing, and that is that you really do have something really great in Albuquerque. Doing this work around the country, I really do wish we would have in other communities where we're working an independent civilian oversight body, right? So people don't have to come to internal affairs to bring a civilian complaint. They can bring it to CPOA and to Ed Harness's shop, and they have a group of independent investigators. And there's a body, the Police Oversight Board, that hears these investigations and makes recommendations to the chief. When the chief does not accept a recommendation from the Police Oversight Board, those are posted and online. They're available, right? Because they're called non-concurrences. Non-concurrences. So you all can see, and that's a transparent process. But what you have here is actually one of the stronger models of civilian oversight that you have. In most other departments or cities, you have only internal affairs, or you have only an outside body that evaluates action that it's already taken by the police department. Here you have your own group of independent investigators, so you don't have to come to APD. You can come to the CPOA. They're part of the agreement, and they're another important avenue in making sure that these reforms are taking place.
But they don't have any control over it.
Thank you.
That's correct. I mean, they don't make decisions for APD. The city and the chief.
Thank you, Louise.